I'm one of the top performing students in Texas A&M Corpus Christi's MBA program. I've earned a 4.0 GPA, made the highest honor rolls, and done everything this university asked of me. I have only 2 classes left before I graduate, and still I regret enrolling. Not because I couldn't handle the workload, not because I didn't try, but because the deeper I got into this program, the more I realized Texas A&M Corpus Christi doesn't value its students, even its best ones. Disclaimer: everything in this video reflects my personal experience and opinions as a student at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I'm sharing this to inform future students based on what I've personally encountered. I'm not making any factual claims about the university's internal policies, only discussing how they affected me and what I observed. This is not legal advice, not academic guidance, and I'm not encouraging anyone to act on my experience alone. I'm just telling my story, truthfully and in good faith, under my right to free expression. Do your own research and fact-checking. This is for entertainment purposes only. Part 1. Why I enrolled. Like a lot of you, I wasn't just looking for a diploma. I wanted a respected degree, something I could be proud of. I wanted to be part of a real university network where professors actually teach, students feel supported, and your effort means something. I imagined late-night study sessions that challenged me, not because I was alone, but because I was growing. I thought I'd be learning from experienced faculty who cared about helping me succeed, not just checking boxes. I thought I was joining something bigger, a community, a name that meant something. What I got was generic, disconnected, cold. From the very start, it felt like I was just logging into another screen. No support, no mentorship, no real guidance. I kept waiting for that college experience to kick in, but it never did. Part 2. No response from leadership. This is where the real frustration started. I had a serious issue, something that affected my ability to finish the program on time. So I did what any committed student would do. I reached out directly to the person in charge. Not a TA, not a help desk. A senior administrator, someone paid to oversee the entire program, someone whose job is to lead. And you know what I got back? Nothing. No reply. No acknowledgement. No, thanks for reaching out. I'll look into this. Instead, someone else, someone clearly beneath him in the chain of command, responded on his behalf. Like I didn't matter. Like I wasn't worth his time. And here's the part that really sticks with me. I'm not a slacker. I'm not failing. I'm one of the top students in the entire program. So if they're willing to brush me off, imagine what happens to the average student, the struggling student, the one without a perfect GPA. This was the first moment where I realized they don't see us as people. Just entries on a spreadsheet, just tuition payments. They gotta pay the real Texas A&M and College Station that royalty money somehow. Part 3. Branded, not built. Here's something most students don't realize. Texas A&M Corpus Christi doesn't carry the A&M name because it earned elite status. It carries it because it's part of the Texas A&M University system. That means TAMUCC is allowed to use the Texas A&M name, brand, and reputation. But that prestige, it's not homegrown. It's inherited. Like a franchise. TAMUCC follows system-wide branding rules, benefits from the credibility of College Station, and contributes a portion of tuition and administrative revenue to the broader A&M system, the same system headquartered in College Station. So every time you see that A&M logo on a TAMUCC hoodie, a diploma, or a marketing email, just know that logo was licensed, not earned. And when you look at the disconnect between TAMUCC's actual student experience, the disorganized leadership, the weak instruction, the support gaps, and the prestige they borrow from College Station, it makes you wonder what you're really buying. An education, or just a name. And when you think about that, it makes sense, right? Because what I've experienced at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the lack of support, the generic courses, the broken communication, it's not living up to the A&M reputation. Not even close. So yeah, they've got to send that check to the real A&M and College Station somehow, because that brand doesn't come free. So when you're choosing where to go for your MBA, ask yourself, are you paying for prestige or just the appearance of it? Part 4. Organizational breakdown, based on their own curriculum. One of the most ironic, and honestly heartbreaking parts of this whole experience is that I actually took organizational behavior at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. In that course, I learned what great organizations are supposed to do, how they're supposed to lead, how they're supposed to treat people. Here's what we were taught, straight out of the curriculum. Great organizations listen to their stakeholders. They deliver high-quality service. They build trust through communication and fairness. And most importantly, they lead from the top. That class taught me that when leadership ignores people, when they brush off concerns, and when they fail to show up, it's not just bad etiquette, it's organizational failure. Now here's the irony. The exact person responsible for leading this MBA program, the one whose job it is to model those principles, did the complete opposite. When I reached out with a serious, time-sensitive academic concern, I got nothing. No reply, no help, just a deflection. Pushed off to someone else like my voice didn't matter. It was like watching everything I had just learned in that course be publicly shredded by the very institution that taught it. It made me realize something brutal. Texas A&M Corpus Christi doesn't walk its own talk. They teach values in the classroom that don't exist in their leadership culture. And if the people at the top aren't willing to live by the values they assign us to study, then what exactly are we paying for? Oh, and by the way, I didn't learn those principles from a dynamic professor or real classroom discussion. I learned them from a textbook. Because at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, there's no real teaching. Most of the time, it's just reading the book, watching a pre-recorded lecture that paraphrases the book, and taking a few quizzes. That's the graduate education we're getting. Which brings me to this next part. Let's talk about what you actually do at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Part 5, what you actually do at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So, what do you actually do in the Texas A&M Corpus Christi MBA program? You'd expect engaging lectures, real discussions, maybe hands-on case studies, right? What you get instead is usually a professor reading off PowerPoint slides, or just rewording the textbook out loud. Yes, some classes have live sessions, but let me be clear. Most of the time, they're not teaching. They're reading, word for word, from the slides, from the book. And in many of my courses, the instructor, while clearly intelligent, spoke with such a strong accent that it was honestly hard to understand them. That's not a dig, that's reality. And instead of the school offering support, like high-quality recordings or even subtitles, nothing. I had to feed video recordings of my own classes into AI just to figure out what was being said. Imagine paying graduate-level tuition and then having to run your classes through an AI filter just to understand them. And this happened more than once. There's a really simple fix here. Let professors record lectures in advance, add clear subtitles, and give students a fighting chance to absorb the material. But that's not happening at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And when you pair that with the textbook-style assignments, reading chapters, answering true, false, or multiple choice, maybe a quiz here and there, the whole thing starts to feel like an expensive self-study program, one I could have recreated at home, for a fraction of the cost. So if you're wondering what day-to-day learning looks like in this program, it's not collaboration, it's not mentorship, it's not transformation, it's checklists, it's guessing what your professor just said, and it's you, alone, trying to make sense of something that should have been built to serve you better. Part 6, no transferability of credits? Seriously? Let me tell you the one thing I wish someone had told me before I joined this program. Your credits don't transfer, not just to other schools. I mean, not even to other campuses within the Texas A&M system. I emailed to ask, and the response was basically, you might be able to transfer up to 9 credit hours, but check with each individual campus and no guarantees. So to be clear, if I wanted to move to Texas A&M College Station, or TAMUCC Business School, or anywhere else in the system, I'd have to start over. All the courses I've completed here, 25 credit hours, thousands of dollars, months of time, are effectively trapped inside Texas A&M Corpus Christi's MBA program. And no one told me that up front. Not during enrollment, not during advising, not in any official materials. No warnings, no disclaimers, no fine print, just silence, until you're already too far in to walk away without losing everything. That's not just frustrating. That feels like a trap. A bait and trap model where they get you in the door with the A&M name, then quietly make sure you can't leave without paying the price. It's anti-student. It's unethical. And it's the kind of thing that only works because no one talks about it. Until now. Part 7. The Professor. Problem. Real reviews, real frustrations. Let's talk about the professors, because they can make or break your MBA experience. At Texas A&M Corpus Christi, finding a highly rated professor feels like trying to snag a PlayStation 5 on launch day. When a well-reviewed professor opens a course, students scramble to enroll, and spots fill up within minutes. If you miss out, you're often left with instructors who have concerning reviews. Here are some real, anonymous student reviews from Rate My Professors about Texas A&M Corpus Christi faculty. I would rather walk on broken seashells for the rest of my life than take a class with this man ever again. The professor is extremely rude and unhelpful. He expects you to know everything already and doesn't explain anything. This professor is the worst. He doesn't teach, just reads from the book, and grades harshly. The class is a joke. The professor doesn't care, and the assignments are pointless busy work. Avoid at all costs. The professor is disorganized, unresponsive, and the lectures are incoherent. These are not isolated incidents. They're part of a pattern that reflects a lack of quality control in the teaching staff. And it's not just about teaching style. Some professors are known for grading harshly without clear justification, adding unnecessary stress to an already challenging program. So, even if you're okay with self-study, be prepared for the possibility of dealing with instructors who may hinder rather than help your learning journey. Finale: the truth, the alternative, and your decision. So let me ask you one last time. Why would you spend your time, your money, and your future on a program like Texas A&M Corpus Christi's MBA? Why settle for PowerPoint lectures, outdated systems, ignored emails, and professors pulled from Rate My Professor's nightmares when you could be at Texas A&M Mays Business School? That's right. Texas A&M Mays now offers its own Flex MBA. Same A&M system. 10x the prestige. Real professors, real teaching, real support. Why go to McDonald's when you can get the best damn burger in the world for nearly the same price? And if not Mays, then why not? UT Dallas, top-ranked MBA for working professionals with world-class faculty, LSU Online. Fast, flexible, and respected. University of Houston, great local network, AACSB accredited, strong ROIWGU. Affordable, self-paced, and shockingly effective for adult learners. Georgia Tech Online MBA. If you're tech-driven and ambitious, these schools aren't just slapping a logo on your screen and calling it education. They're investing in students. They're building futures. Texas A&M Corpus Christi? They're cashing tuition checks and licensing the A&M name like it's a Netflix password. They didn't respond when I needed help. They didn't warn me that none of my credits would transfer. They didn't teach me. I taught myself. I'm a top student. I've earned a 4.0 GPA. I've done everything right. And I still regret enrolling here. I'm just 2 courses away from finishing this so-called MBA, a program I've mostly taught myself. But honestly, I don't even know if I'll finish. Because at this point, the diploma won't feel like a proud achievement. It'll feel like one of those greasy, laminated Denny's placemats, flimsy, forgettable, and stained with disappointment. So if you're watching this and you've got options, run, don't walk. Because Texas A&M Corpus Christi isn't a stepping stone. It's a cul-de-sac, and your future deserves more than that. Bonus section, fun facts that aren't so fun. Let's wrap up with a few fun facts about Texas A&M Corpus Christi's MBA program. And by fun, I mean, you should probably know this before dropping thousands of dollars. Fun fact number 1, cheating is rampant and easy. I've never cheated, not once. I've earned every bit of my 4.0 GPA with discipline, late nights, and AI tutors when the professors failed me. But if I wanted to cheat, it'd be a breeze. Entire exams, assignments, and quizzes are floating around online, especially on sites like Course Hero. Just search Texas A&M Corpus Christi MBA, and you'll find uploaded test banks and shared answer keys, all right there for the taking. And somehow, this school still carries an AACSB accreditation, the gold standard for business schools. But here's the problem. Even if you stay honorable, like I did, sooner or later, the herd of cows cheating their way through this program drags down the value of your degree. Employers don't know who earned it and who Googled it. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi is not doing much to stop it. Fun fact number 2, it's really easy to get in. Texas A&M Corpus Christi loves to market the prestige of the Texas A&M name. But getting into this MBA program? Not hard. This isn't like applying to UT Austin or Texas A&M Mays or even the University of Houston. The bar is low, and that's intentional. Because more students equals more tuition, equals more royalty checks to the Texas A&M system. It's quantity over quality, and you'll feel it once you're in. Bonus fact, the herd mentality is real. The whole experience here feels like a factory pipeline. Get admitted. Read the book. Take the quiz. Graduate. There's no mentorship, no networking, no transformational growth. Just a digital holding pen full of students waiting for their diploma, like cattle waiting to be processed. And if you try to speak up or ask for more, you'll get silence. Or worse, you'll be told to wait your turn, like a good little number in the herd. Final fun fact, the sunk cost wake-up call. Final fun fact, I've got over $15,000 in debt tied to this MBA program. Probably more, but honestly, I don't even want to check. But here's the upside of having a bachelor's in business. I know what a sunk cost is. Just because I've already spent the time and money doesn't mean I should keep throwing more into something that's failing me. And that's what Texas A&M Corpus Christi's MBA has become, a franchise Titanic. Same brand name, different ship, still sinking. So yeah, I'm jumping off this boat, and I'm grabbing the nearest helicopter out. Because I deserve better. And so do you.